What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to State of the WWE, episode 110. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. First thing is this major change to Monday Night Raw. This has been floating around in the news outlets out there, but it originated on Fightful, so that's usually a fairly credible source with those guys. So, we're going to talk about that real quick. I'm going to let you know what that's all about in case you didn't hear about it. And I also want to talk about why I actually hate the hell out of it. I really hate it. We're going to talk about that right now. And then in a few, we'll talk about Drew McIntyre, what's going on with the push with him, Braun Strowman being in the doghouse, more clarification from a lot of different sources and people that there is something going on with him for sure. I also want to say rest in peace to Jose Lothario. I know I mentioned it the other day. And I'm going to also talk about Daniel Bryan and The Miz and maybe a few other things. But first off, Triple H had successful pectoral muscle surgery, so we know that he's going to be okay. He's on the road to recovery. As I've told you guys, from what I always know of these injuries, 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 months. Oh, my God, you wish it was weeks. 4 to 6 months. Assuming there's no major complications in there somewhere. And so we hope for the best for Triple H. But let's get right to this major change. Monday Night Raw, you might have heard about it already. Maybe some of you did. The Monday Night Raw run over time. So the extra innings of Monday Night Raw, when Raw sometimes runs over to 11:05, 11:15, 11:20 in some cases, 11:18, whatever it is, that is going away. And from what we're understanding, it goes away starting next week. Now, I can't 100% say it's next week or the week after, but everything they're reporting is saying that it's next week. So next Raw, it will end at 11 o'clock. Boom, on the dot, Raw ends at 11. I can't believe this. They've been doing this with Raw since at least, I want to say, 97, or maybe 98. I do remember, you remember when Raw used to go off the air, because, 97 when Shawn Michaels super kicked Bret Hart out in the wheelchair or whatever it was, and they missed it. And it wasn't until later on that we saw what happened after they went off the air. It's funny because my memory, I remember back that I saw that live, but everything that's come out is that you didn't see it live, and that you missed it because Raw went off the air, and I actually didn't remember that. I mean, I was 13 years old at the time, so I can see obviously some things you don't remember, whatever the case is. But I mean, one of the things I hate about SmackDown, if a major match is going on, and then somebody hits a big move at like 9:59 p.m. Eastern time, right? Somebody hits a big move, you know it's over, pretty much, because it's 9:59 and now the guy's pinning him, and it's over. Or you can guess that the match isn't going to end usually at like 9:56. It usually always comes down to the last 2 minutes. Now, if sometimes you had a match end at 9:54, 9:56, maybe it would be a little bit better, but it always seems to like they book it to end right on the dot or within 2 minutes. From about 9:58 to 10 p.m., somebody's going to get the pin. And it really spoils everything for you, and it really makes you think of, wow, this is all fake, because it's going to work out to a T that they make it right to 10 p.m., and then they're off the air. By the time it says 10:00, they're going off the air. And you know what I mean? Monday Night Raw is already boring enough. It's really boring. It's really bad. And, this was something that was keeping it still a little bit fresh in a way, because you never really knew what exactly could be happening, because they could go off at any time, 11:05, 11:08, 11:12, whatever it is. You don't really know exactly when the ending is, and that really kept your, kind of heightened for the end of the show. The last 30 minutes of the show, you were kind of, maybe, or at least the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and they had potentials to, they wouldn't have to cancel some things or scrap something or rush something else because they had the time that they could run over. So it was a cushion. It was a security blanket. And now that's gone, man. I don't know. I really hate that. I'm actually, if this is true, then I'm severely disappointed, because now you're going to have Raw and SmackDown ending in the same way, right at 11, right at 10. And I think it hurts. It does nothing but hurt Raw. It doesn't help it. I can't find anybody out there who's going to say that this is a positive. If you think this is a positive somehow, Write it down below. I don't know how it's a positive. The only thing positive about it is that you can, I don't know, that I can go live. I know I'm going live at 11 every night. You know what I mean? I know I don't have to wonder, oh my God, are they suddenly ending? Oh, I wasn't ready. You know, I got to run over to the computer. You know, so I mean, that's the only positive I can think of. Or anybody, or any kids that have like a strict bedtime of 11. You know, you must be in bed by 11. You will not be watching TV after 11. Even 8 more minutes of Raw or 15 more minutes of Raw. You know, I just can't see how this is going to be good. You know, and a lot of times those last 15 minutes or 10 minutes were commercial free. If you remember, you know, they wouldn't have a commercial break. So you'd have a commercial break at 10:52, and they'd come back, and then you wouldn't see another commercial, and you know, until the show was over. So you might have a 20-minute run of no commercials, 25 minutes sometimes. So that was really cool, and that is gone. If this is true, that is gone, and man, that sucks. And it also sucks because, you know, it's not like Raw is going to leave USA now because SmackDown is leaving. I don't know. I just hate it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. But we're not done yet. State of the WWE episode 110. We continue to press on here. And Braun Strowman is in the doghouse. Braun Strowman is in some trouble, and we found out about that, and it appears all to be true, that he's had some behavioral issues of the reports. This stuff leaks out usually also to help with punishment in a way. They almost like embarrassing their people sometimes, I feel like, especially when they fail them, especially when they fail Vince, it seems like. So, you know, I mean, I'm over Braun anyway. I said this on Out of Nowhere last night, the Out of Nowhere Wrestling Podcast last night. It's up if you want to go listen to it. We started last night at 11 p.m. right here on the Joe Cronin Show. But, I mean, the guy, you know, if Braun Strowman was champion, it'd be boring. Who cares at this point? You know, I'm not into Braun anymore. I'm over it. I'm already over it. You know, WWE called my bluff. He's at this point to me, although he's an impressive athlete sometimes, he's dealing with knee issues, and to me, he's a subpar Big Show. At this point, you know, I'm sick of Brock Lesnar, and I love Drew McIntyre, and that's all this has done is made me realize how much I love. I mean, we love Drew McIntyre anyway. Listen, Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway before McIntyre, and he's just an awesome guy. If you remember, I mean, we were rooting for him when he was in TNA, when he was in Impact. We were rooting for him when he was independent. He was a listener of the show. Drew, I don't know if you still listen to the show. I doubt you do. You've got so much to do. I can't imagine it. I mean, I couldn't believe that he listened to the show when he told me that, you know, when I did the interview with him a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was now. That seems like yesterday we did it because I was tracking him down for 2 years. But, you know, he was nice enough to give us a big interview, and he's just a great guy. And, man, I love his abilities in the ring now. I love his presentation, his athleticism. He's the real deal. I want to see Drew McIntyre, you know, maybe get a little bit of get a little bit more of a push behind him. Maybe even an enhancement a little bit to his character, if possible. And I want to see him go for it, man. I want to see him the champion. I'm down with cheering for Drew McIntyre. You know? I'm kind of bored by Strowman. I'm very bored by Brock Lesnar. And there's nobody else. Roman's not coming through the door. You know, give it a try, man. Give it a try with somebody new who hasn't been beaten by Brock Lesnar. You know, Drew hasn't been beaten by Brock Lesnar. Let him beat Dolph Ziggler. That maybe they have to feud as they break up. Let him do that. Then let him go and go after that thing, man. I want to see Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. And I think that would be a positive thing. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about this Daniel Bryan situation too. So one possible main event that would be floating around in my head for WrestleMania would be Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. I'm going to tell you about the second one. A lot of you guys know about it already, but we'll talk about it here right now. But first, I just want to give a shout-out to the executive producers of the Joe Cronin Show. You guys are the listeners who keep me going, and I want to give executive producer credits to people who donated over $3,000 over the lifetime here as fans and listeners and friends. Brian Himmelfarb, Justin Mcneil, DMOON, The Bear, Gorilla Strong, Nikki T, The Goon, Schleppy, TNA Better Than WWE, LukeNDfan, NullDeath, ABELsalasJR, Bad Omen, WoolhatDemon, Shell, AruShinchu, and Lemon. If there's anybody off that list, then you know you've dropped more than $3K over your lifetime here on the show. Please hit me up on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show in a message, or tweet me at CorruptedPod. DM me, tweet me, whatever it is, let me know. Or email me, joecroninshow@yahoo.com. I also want to shout out the associate producers of the Joe Cronin Show. These are people who are patrons of $25 or more on Patreon, helping the show continue to go. Justin Mcneil in the top spot with $100 a month. Jim Kays, Frog Kid, BigBadAds, Sav King, V2, Vito of Doom, Brian Himmelfarb, Marz Mira, Coop The Comedian, The Bear, Cameron Sinclair, Tyler Lewis Floyd, Nicky J, and SoCom Kastle are all $25 patrons or more on Patreon. Thank you guys for letting me do what I do and making this video free for everybody else. I don't have any other advertisements aside from WrestleCrate.com. Go to WrestleCrate.com, enter coupon code Joe Sent Me. You'll get a percentage off your monthly wrestling, the original wrestling crate and wrestle box that comes monthly to you. It's WrestleCrate.com, coupon code Joe Sent Me. Go tweet them on Twitter. Let them know that I sent you their way. They're just good people, you know what I mean? What else we got? So Daniel Bryan and The Miz. These guys have had good chemistry in the past. I've thought they've had pretty good chemistry here trying to work together the other night. That was actually a pretty good thing on SmackDown. Didn't really love SmackDown that much, but in a weird way, Daniel Bryan and The Miz kind of were fun to watch. I can't believe I'm saying that in a way. Daniel Bryan has been mostly boring to me. I'm mostly sick of The Miz in many ways because I've seen him so much. He's a great guy, amazing talent, amazing speaker, talker, performer, promo cutter, and a decent wrestler. You know, a classic sort of decent wrestler. Not a big fan of him in the ring, really, though, to me. Not a big fan. But as an entertainer, I'm a fan of The Miz. And Daniel Bryan, pretty good as well. But everybody thinks that they're going to face off at WrestleMania. Somehow the belt is going to come off AJ Styles. Maybe Samoa Joe. I mean, in my booking, in my mind, Samoa Joe will come back to try to take vengeance on AJ again towards WrestleMania season. Maybe cost him the WWE World Title. And despite AJ Styles being champion for a long time, actually at WrestleMania 35 he walks in not the champion. It's very possible that happens. And if that happens, you could have The Miz become the champion due to interference from Samoa Joe, and then you could have Samoa Joe in a grudge match at WrestleMania with AJ Styles that could be really good. The Miz could become champion. Daniel Bryan could finally win the Royal Rumble to face The Miz at WrestleMania for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then you have Drew McIntyre challenge Brock Lesnar because, that belt it doesn't necessarily matter if you win the Rumble or you just challenge the guy because that belt is never really on TV anyway. So Drew McIntyre takes on Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal Championship. So now you're at WrestleMania, and you got Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. You got The Miz versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE World title. Some people may think The Miz and Daniel Bryan is a weak match, though, and I wouldn't blame you. And I would probably say that if that's the case, you will see the WWE World title defended probably in the middle of the show, as it's been, or at the beginning. I wouldn't put it past WWE to actually put the WWE World title match, the opening match of WrestleMania. You know, what are we, November 8th, 2018 right now? Mark this down, State of the WWE, episode 110. I wouldn't be that surprised if they did that. I don't think I would like that, really, but it could be something they do. See, I'm somebody that really holds that belt high, man. When you talk about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, it's like, that should be the number one belt in the company, bar none, hands down, and I don't like that the lines are blurred a bit between two titles. Don't really love that. So there you go. I want to hear from you guys down below with what you think of that. And I also want to say that Jason Matthews on Patreon sent me a message about this, and he thinks that it's going to be Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles again at WrestleMania for the belt, and Daniel Bryan and The Miz will just have some kind of grudge match. I'm already bored of, quite frankly, I'm pretty bored of Bryan and The Miz at this point, other than their kind of chemistry on TV that they've had. So I guess I'm not bored, but the idea of them in a match bores me. So I suppose if you have Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble and The Miz being the champion, I suppose that automatically is kind of interesting, I suppose. But you guys have to tell me down below in the comments what you think about all this, and I'll read some of those, if not all of them, and I will try to, put your comments in my head. Then when I make a follow-up video, I'll try to reference the ones that really pop out at me in your comments down below. Also, if you enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. Let's move on to that's really it, man. I mean, Braun's in the doghouse. I mean, I don't think there's anything else that I really want to get into other than the attendance, it being a shame. You know, the type of attendance we're seeing for WWE is very, very it's just disheartening to see what's going on with that. And plus the ratings and everything else, it's just very disheartening. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised because I've been saying this for years. It's weird because I have been saying this, that, the ratings are going to drop, and then when people would fight me about that, I would say, well, you don't care about the ratings, but, I guess it's going to take, what's it going to take, empty seats for you to finally see, what's going on? It's going to take all the empty seats. When you start seeing the empty seats, are you going to be like, oh, yeah, shit, people aren't here? And you're really seeing that now. You're actually seeing all that shit come true. So anyway, I really wanted to let you guys know, for all you patrons out there, Morning Madness episode 127 is up now. I just uploaded it in a few hours before making this video. So Morning Madness episode 127, it's a pretty good one. It's up on Patreon. Make sure you go listen to it if you're in the $5 or above tier. Also, this was State of the WWE 110, and I want to remind you that tonight, Thursday Night Throwdown is live on my other channel, youtube.com/corruptedpodcast. Also on that channel will be a video about me talking more about Diablo and Blizzard and the bashing that's going on and the disappointment in the entire Diablo community about the fact that they released a mobile game, a brand new mobile Diablo game that nobody wanted when we wanted Diablo 4 or an update to Reaper of Souls. So I'm going to go into that a little bit more and comment on some things that have been being said in the community of Diablo and Blizzard at BlizzCon. Funny it's called BlizzCon because it sure was a friggin' con, and the people were pissed, and that's why they booed. And we talked about it on Corrupted, but on Patreon, but I want to talk about it some more, one-on-one with you guys. That's it. Throwdowns tonight at 10 p.m. over on that channel as well, youtube.com/corruptedpodcast. If you're brand new to this channel, The Joe Cronin Show, please subscribe down below if you haven't already. And don't miss out on my daily videos, news videos, wrestling videos, whatever it is. State of the WWE episode 110. Feel free to go back and watch all the other episodes if you want. Browse around on my channel, watch my playlists, watch my other videos. And if you really haven't heard yet, Remembering WrestleMania was a great podcast I did with Justin Bailey about all the first 31 WrestleManias. So if you want something to listen to that's a bit nostalgic and stuff, and you like podcasts, it took us 15 hours to get through 3 episodes, part 1, part 2, and part 3 of Remembering WrestleMania. If that's something you haven't heard or haven't heard in a while, I suggest popping that in and listening to it. Click around on some of my videos. But the rest of you guys, I thank you for supporting my channel through live donations when I'm live. That keeps me going and doing this on YouTube, so please always feel free to do that and help me out if you'd like. For the rest of you that can't do that, feel free to click the like button and just share my videos to all your family, friends, and anybody that might like wrestling or to talk wrestling or anything like that. And I also want to thank the patrons because we can't do videos like this without you guys on Patreon. So thank you to the patrons. We're about to hit 540 patrons again, or 544. I'm sorry, 500. Oh, my God. I wish I wish we were at 500. That'd be good. Then we could really do things. But no, we're at 344, so that's okay. Which is one of the better ones in the wrestling community. I look at a lot of patrons, and we are maybe top 3. I don't really know if that's true, but I'd have to look around some more. But, we're certainly up there. Pretty damn respectable on Patreon. Of course, I do a lot of variety of different things that aren't wrestling and stuff like that, so that helps. But anyway, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. $5 a month, $2 a month, $1 a month. But $10 a month, $25 to get the producer credit. But $5 a month will get you the 30 hours of bonus content a month at least, and you will help keep my show going. Hit me up on Twitter at CorruptedPod, and I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go beat up a dolphin. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm joking. Don't tell Peter. No, guys, I'm in a weird mood. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood right now. I mean, I don't know. I did so many podcast things this morning. I did an interview with somebody, too. I don't know. If you guys want to get your stuff advertised on my shows, too, make sure you hit me up. You can always email me, joecroninshow@yahoo.com. We'll talk about it, whether it's a channel, an advertisement, a product, or whatever it is. We can get you plugged in all my shows and everything like that. And you can reach about 300,000 people a month at least. So, till tonight. See you tonight for Throwdown or on Patreon or wherever else you decide to go with the other stuff that I all mentioned there that you might not have heard yet. And leave a comment down below so I can figure out what the hell you're thinking. I'm really going to go now. I got to pick my kid up from school. You know what? I'm lucky it's not that far away, that school, because it would be awful if it wasn't. Like the parents would have to drive like 10 minutes to the school, 15 minutes even, or 20 minutes. Like, oh, God. We might have to do that soon when we move out of this area, but it's the one good thing about the city is you just walk, and you're there. Anyway, let's hear it for Drew McIntyre. What do you guys think about all that? Who should be Universal Champion? Who's better to be Universal Champion than Drew? I mean, I don't know. I'll see you guys later. Here's some other videos you might have missed. They're popping up now. Plus, here's a link to my Patreon. Go check it out if you want. We also put a bunch of free stuff up on Patreon, and you can follow my Patreon for free as well, so do that. But I do suggest actually checking it out and drop a couple of bucks and check it out, and you'll get a bunch of shit. I like listening to a lot of podcasts, so that I do a lot of podcasts. So a lot of times my biggest complaint is the people I like listening to don't put out enough content. But, if you're listening to me on both my YouTube channels or my other YouTube channels too, and you're a patron as well, I mean, you're looking at just hours all week long. Most people complain that they can't even keep up or whatever, so there's just going to always be something for you to listen to. Have I babbled on too much? I think so. Hey, before we go, let's check to see if there's any breaking news. Because you know what? Now that whole cut I did earlier about, hey, click on these videos that you might have missed. Now that doesn't even matter because that time is ellipsed or passed. Eclipsed? I don't know. I'm saying the wrong words. Let's see. Mark Henry believes Drew McIntyre will be a WWE World Champion soon. That's funny. We just talked about that. No. That's about it, man. I mean, the only other thing to mention is my NXT reviews. I've been lacking on those or slacking on those. Jesus Christ. I'm having like friggin' strokes. I've been slacking on those, so pretty soon I'm going to be putting up a NXT, a state of NXT, I think, or at least an overall review of NXT where I cover the last 5 weeks and kind of talk about what I've been seeing and what's going on now that I've almost caught up on it. So I may just do a video like that for Patreon, 30 minutes or something like that, whatever long it takes me to get through it. I won't know. But I'm really going this time, and stuff's really popping up on your screen now that you can click on if you'd like, and the Patreon's popping up on the right if you want to click that little face and take a visit to the bonus land and help keep my show going. Thanks, guys. Bye.